Have you ever found yourself lying there hoping it'll be over soon? You're not alone. Too many women are silently enduring sex they no longer want, not because they're broken, cold, or unloving, but because something deeper is missing. In this episode of Decode Love, we'll uncover 5 subtle but powerful signs that sex in your relationship has become an obligation, not a connection. And if any of them sound familiar, it's not about shame. It's about finally understanding what your body has been trying to tell you. By the way, our series on sex and intimacy drops every Sunday, so make sure you're subscribed. Let's start with the one no one says out loud. If your first emotion after sex is relief, not joy, not closeness, but relief that it's over, that's not desire. That's survival. Your body is enduring, not enjoying. And it often means you've learned to disconnect from your own needs to keep the peace. Maybe you're tired. Maybe you're emotionally distant. Or maybe it's just become easier to get it over with than to speak up. That's not intimacy. That's obligation disguised as affection. Here's the paradox. You want closeness. You miss affection. You long for connection. But you don't initiate, because you know what it'll lead to. If physical affection always has to become sex, then sometimes it's safer to go without any touch at all. So you pull back. You stop cuddling. You flinch when he reaches for you. Not because you don't love him, but because your nervous system is protecting you from something it's already tired of. That withdrawal isn't rejection. It's your body drawing a boundary you've been afraid to voice. Let's be honest. Dread isn't supposed to live in your bedroom. If his hand on your hip makes you tense, if you start calculating how to avoid it tonight, that's your body screaming, something's not right. Sex isn't supposed to feel like pressure. It's supposed to feel like choice. And if it hasn't felt like a choice in a long time, that's not your failure. That's a sign your needs have been silenced, and your body is speaking up in their place. And that voice often comes out in subtle ways. The headache at night, the sudden sleepiness, the avoidance you don't even notice you're doing anymore. You know the script. You know when to moan, how to move, when to fake it, and you're good at it. Too good. But deep down, you're disconnected. It's not your pleasure you're responding to. It's his. You're playing a role. And maybe you don't even realize it anymore. Maybe you've done it for so long that pretending has become muscle memory. This isn't just about bad sex. It's about the invisible pressure to be a good partner, even when your body says no. And that pressure is often so normalized that it feels like your job, to make him feel wanted, to not rock the boat, to keep the peace. Ironically, one of the clearest signs is what happens after. Do you feel held or hollow? Do you roll away and go silent? Do you cry without knowing why? If sex leaves you feeling more disconnected, more lonely, more resentful, that's not intimacy. That's emotional abandonment in disguise. Because real intimacy makes you feel more connected, more seen, more whole. But when sex feels like something you have to give in order to receive love, the cost is your own emotional safety. And here's another layer. Sometimes, you even convince yourself it's fine. You tell yourself, it's just a phase. Or, at least we're still having sex. But quantity isn't the same as connection. You can have sex 3 times a week and still feel completely alone. And the saddest part? You start believing that's just how it is. That maybe all long-term relationships become this. That maybe your expectations were too high. They weren't. Your body knows the difference between being touched and being treasured. You're not crazy. You're not broken. You're not a bad partner. But when sex turns into duty instead of desire, something deep within you goes quiet. And over time, that silence can turn into resentment, distance, even grief. Because the truth is, desire doesn't die on its own. It dies when we stop feeling emotionally safe, when we stop being met, when we start betraying ourselves to maintain a connection that no longer nourishes us. It's not selfish to want sex to feel safe, mutual, and meaningful. It's not dramatic to say, "I need more than this." It's brave. It's self-honoring. And it's the first step toward reclaiming your voice, your pleasure, and your truth. So let's stop pretending. Let's start getting honest. Because the moment you stop performing and start listening, not just to your partner, but to yourself, is the moment you begin to break the cycle. Which of these signs resonated most with you? Drop it in the comments. Subscribe for new episodes every Sunday, where we decode sex, love, and everything no one taught us about intimacy.